Look at where we are. I mean, Iran has operationalized all of its proxies. They've shut down the Suez Canal. Their proxies have fired ballistic missiles at U.S. warships, and we still haven't responded against Iran. 200 plus attacks against U.S. troops that are stationed in Syria and in Iraq since the beginning of this administration. I mean, the Middle East is on fire, and as Iran moves towards a nuclear weapon, we're going to have a nuclear arms race in the Middle East as a result of this administration's policy.
It doesn't matter whether we're talking Iran, North Korea, China, or Russia. We cast every single one of them as an implacable enemy that there's no other solution than either to militarily defeat them or humiliate them. You can't talk about negotiation because our presumption is there is no foundation for actual negotiation that would be serious, that would respect that they may have some genuine interests we have to take into account. Oh no, we've got to treat them as an enemy. And yet, here comes the problem that we've got too many people in senior positions in Washington, D.C., both in the military and the political side, that believe that we militarily can just go in there and hit Iran, and by God, that's going to straighten things out. Now, you saw with your own experience in Iraq, which is 1/4 the size of Iraq, how difficult it was from just a logistics standpoint for us to try to do something there. And that we think we can go into Iran and it will be a piece of cake when Iran has the actual ability to shut down the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, shut it down.
People aren't thinking this through. It's
and and I would even add another portion to that because both my time in Iraq and Afghanistan is relevant since it's literally on either side of Iran. There seems to be no cognition at all that you can't just launch a bunch of missiles into Iran and somehow that's going to, I don't know, cause the people to rise up against and throw out the mullahs. They're still going to be there unless you go in on the ground and take them out. They're going to continue to do all these things and you can't stop them. And then what are you going to do? We don't even have an army that can handle all that on the ground. There's no way. It would take us months, if not years, to build up a force large enough to sustain a ground invasion. And why would we want to even try? It's irrational to the highest order.
Yeah, no, I agree. I mean, and that's why I say that you listen to Keane say these things. I mean, he got his stars. He became a general officer. He should understand this. And the fact, it's really puzzling. Is he really this mentally locked up in an ideology that he can't even think rationally? He can't step out of the box and look at it? Or does he know that he's lying and he's just pushing the lie because there's some financial benefit to be had? I don't know.
I don't know, but if he were the only one, that would be one thing. And if it was just Ben Hodges was only the second one, that would be one thing. But here's another one.
Israel has moved past Gaza right now. They've actually shifted their focus to Hezbollah and to Lebanon right now. And you're going to start seeing that more and more with the air attacks, with the attacks on the pagers, the command and control. You're going to see this thing escalating. And I listened to President Biden just a minute ago. There's a huge difference between rhetoric and reality. He's just talking off a card. There's no de-escalation. The Israelis are clearly escalating this fight, and this is going to continue. And with Netanyahu going to the UN, if he's smart, he's going to blow them up. And what he's going to say is 20 years ago, the UN Security Council passed a resolution, 1701, that was supposed to solve this problem in Lebanon. Hezbollah was supposed to disarm. The guy who signed that agreement was Hassan Nasrallah, the leader of Hezbollah now, and they were supposed to move north of the Litani River. They never did it. And I think the Israelis now are committed to finishing that fight right now, whatever it's going to take for them to do it, to allow those 60,000 displaced civilians from Israel back into their living abodes.
First of all, talking about somebody who should know better, he just blithely said, okay, Israel is going to move on from Hamas. Is that war over?
Yeah, I'm saying, well, I made that point. I had this acquaintance yesterday who was writing that, Israel's now they're going to give it to Hezbollah and Iran, and it's going to be a great victory. And I go, can you please explain to me that if Israel cannot defeat Hamas, who's relatively unarmed, doesn't have any heavy
playpen. I mean, they've got them boxed in physically.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you control the territory, you control the air, you got almost total control, and you can't control that in 11 months? And you're going to defeat Hezbollah in Iran? Are you nuts?